All right, so I have the two mounts mounted, the yaw sensor mount and the ABS pump mount. Now I'm going to move on to getting the brake lines mounted. I'll get the holes cut. Again, it's going to go there. And then there is a hole right here. So that's the hole I'm going to use for the front brake lines. So how the front brake lines will work is they'll come out of that hole down to the driver's side, down to the passenger side. So where that comes out here is on the front of the car. So it comes out here and it'll have your clutch, the left side, right side. It's a 3-inch hole. So I've cut a 3-inch piece of aluminum. So this is a 3-inch piece of 3-inch circle. And then these are the 3 slots. What I'm using for my brakes, this is a -4 to the 3/16 brake line. So what it'll be like is this in the end, and then it'll be a brake line coming out of it. And then this, so this will be in the car. That'll be a -4 to the 2 master cylinders, and then this will be outside the car going to the 2 brake lines. And I'll use these for both of the rear brake lines and both of the front brake lines.
Powered by Ocho.
Here, clamp it. So this is our 3 holes, 2 holes for the brake lines, 1 for the clutch, and I'm going to go RTV this into the car, and then I'm going to start on the trans tunnels brake lines. Alright, so I'm going to drill the holes for the rear brake lines. How they'll go is I'm going to follow these 2 spot welds, and I think if I go right here, right in the middle, there's a stud that's welded on this side. So you want to, I'm going to stay just, yeah, I got enough room, and if I stay right in the middle of these spot welds, I'll be right in that channel I was talking about. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill 1 hole just to see where it lines up, and then make sure before I drill the big hole. So make sure Alright, so got the 2 holes, got the first one in, hole, shifter hole. So that's where those 2 will sit. I'll go get a wrench. This is a 3/4 inch. Tighten those down. This should be a -4. That's going to go up to the ABS pump, and then we'll see if this gets in the way of my leg. If it does, I'll just build a small cover for it. Pretty simple, and that's what we'll do for this part of it. Not that big of an issue. I also went ahead and got the front fittings done. I still need to get that bulkhead, but that's how that's on there, all sealed up and ready to go. So now that that's done, I will lift the car back up, get underneath the car, start doing the rear brake lines. That's going to take me some time. I will document as much as I can, but you'll probably just see where I'm starting and again where I'm ending, and that's what we'll do. Let me bring you under the car and show you how I'm going to route the brake line. So those are the 2 bulkheads. The goal is going to be to route one along the fuel line. The other one I'm going to bring up and around and then run it down the passenger side. The plan is to have the brake lines out of the way, unlike the factory had, and make sure that we can pull all the components without touching the brake lines later. And then we'll run it along the fuel filter, up through, under the floor, and then up under the under the floor on both sides, and then they'll drop back down to where the stock location was. So that's the plan. I'll get the bending now, and we'll see how it goes. All right, so what I'm using for my tools, I have a tube straightener because I've got the coil tube. This is the nickel copper. I've got some coat hanger that I'll pre-bend into the turns that I need. I made a couple templates of different potential angles that I'll need, but this will give me a good idea of how big it is without having to be very precise on measurements. I have my tube bender. What else do I have? I got a hand bender, and then I have more copper tubing, but I have the flare tool. So this is much like all the other ones. This is just the Summit branded one, but they're all the same, I think. So that I'm gonna get that set up in the vise. I'm gonna get some tube straightened out, and then I'm gonna get some measurements done. And then I will start laying some pipe. Okay. All right, so I've got the rear lines ran. I just need to get a couple unions because I'm gonna have to do that. And then I need to go up and over the frame rail that I was looking to do. So here's what we have. This is again coming out of the holes that I drilled earlier. I've got the one going on the driver's side that goes along it. It curves in underneath the fuel filter and ups, and then this is where I will join it, and then I'm going to bring it up over the frame rail there. And then for the passenger side, I have it going up, right there, up, over, and then on this side, and then it'll terminate much the same. I bought some of these brake line holders, so you can see I drilled one here where it doesn't really matter. So I drilled one here, and then these actually are using the brake or the emergency brake. So I put one there, and then it comes around, forms up here, and then this is where the fuel pump. I think this is for the fuel pump. So I took the fuel pump out, the harness out of the hole, and I'll zip tie it. And then I clipped it here. And then again, I haven't cut this one yet, so I'll cut and flare this one. I just need to see where I'm gonna terminate it for the next union to go through there. So that's what I have right now. I will get back to it. It's running out of time tonight, and we've got that hurricane coming, so that'll kind of age this video when you watch it. But yep, so I'll get right on that tomorrow once everything clears up and I can get back out here after work. All right, so it's another day, and I've got all the tools I need to finish up the brake lines. The rear's done. I'll go through those after I get the front finished. So that's what I'm going to move on to now. The front lines, I'm going to be running from here. This is the two fittings that we installed on the other side. It'll run down here into the inner fender well, down into here, and then so from the inner fender well area, you can see I've got a piece here. This will just come in through here, and then that'll go up into the firewall. And then the passenger side will do the same, except it's going to run up underneath. It'll run up underneath this, up across to that frame rail, and back down. And that's how we'll terminate that one. But it'll make more sense once I got them in and you're not following my finger. So let's get going. All right, so we just got the brake lines done on the front. I'm gonna go ahead and show you those and lift the car up, and then show you the back. So on the front, what we have is the one, it comes in here. I just used a piece of the fuel line just to protect it a little bit as it goes through there. And then it comes up into the fitting. So it's a pretty straight shot, comes straight down through there and up there. And then the one that goes through the passenger side, that's going to come here, and then it's going to go up across the firewall. It's going to tuck down, one single coupler there, come straight across the frame rail, and then much like the it goes right in there through a hole. Now, the reason I put a coupler here is I still haven't repaired this fender, and because I haven't repaired that fender yet, I wanted to be able to remove that brake line if I needed to, and also because the angle of everything, by having just that little hole and maneuvering it through that, sneaking it through it, was difficult. So, coupler there shouldn't be a problem, and I'm going to line the firewall now with some gold tape, and then that'll be it for all of the brake lines. Oh, let me lift the car up and show you underneath. So underneath the car, looking from the firewall back, you can see this is the spot where the two bulkhead fittings I used are. So it's -4 on the other side, and then to the 3/16 on this side. I gotta just tighten that one back up. I've got the passenger side, it comes up around through the trans tunnel. That should be plenty of clearance. And I've got a couple of clips just to help hold the line off of places. And then the driver's side, I use the stock areas for all of the line to fit in. And then it comes up and over through the small hole here. And again, I use some fuel line to keep it from chafing on anything. And then the passenger side, you can see, kind of goes from here. I put a couple holders here, and then comes up, and then again goes right through the frame rail spot here, and then it comes straight out. It comes straight out right there. And then what that allowed it to do, I can remove the rear diff and all that stuff, trans and all without removing those brake lines. So that should save an enormous amount of time. And you don't have to re-bleed the brakes when you put it all back together. So this is a way better solution for that, for quick changing and whatnot. So that wraps up this episode. And if you haven't yet, be sure to like, subscribe, comment, share, all that good stuff, and I hope to bring you some more content in the near future.
Powered by Ocho.